London, 1888, a city where one of the history's most terrifying tales were written. Queen Victoria reigned, and the British Empire stood at the zenith of its glory. Yet beneath this glittering facade, in the narrow, dark alleys of Whitechapel, in London's East End, a different world existed. This was the place where poverty, hunger, and despair cast such a deep shadow that even humanity seemed to get lost within it. And in this darkness, a predator roamed, whose name still sends shivers down the spine. A name that has remained mystery for centuries. Jack the Ripper. Imagine London in 1888. On one side, the brilliance of Buckingham Palace, the gathering of high society, and on the other, the squalid tenements of Whitechapel. The population here was so dense that people lived on top of each other, entire families squeezed into tiny rooms. A filthy street. Sanitation was so poor that disease were rampant. Employment was scarce, and what little work was available paid barely anything. In this environment, many women resorted to prostitution to earn a living. These were the forgotten souls of society who ventured out into the streets each night risking their lives. Whitechapel was not just a hub of poverty, but also of crime. Theft, brawls, and alcoholism were too common. Police presence was minimal, and those who were there often feared venturing into the areas. It was a city where the rule of law was weak and the law of the jungle prevailed, and it was the weak legal system that was exploited by an individual who plunged London into a reign of terror. August 1888. The nights of Whitechapel began to grow longer, but this lengthening darkness was soon to be stained crimson. On the morning of August 31st, 1888, in Bucks Row, the body of Mary Ann Nichols was discovered. She was an 43-year-old prostitute, often known as Polly Nichols. Her throat had two deep gashes and her abdomen was brutally mutilated. This was not just a murder, it was a warning. A warning from a killer who had crossed the boundaries of humanity and whose intentions were terrifying. The murder ignited a new fear in Whitechapel. People wondered, was this an ordinary criminal or a new, more dangerous predator? The police launched an investigation, but they had no solid lead. The darkness deepened, and with it, the terror of the Reaper. Just a week later, on September 8, 1888, another murder occurred. The victim was Annie Chapman, also known as Dark Annie. Her body was found in backyard of Hanbury Street. Like Mary Ann Nichols, her throat was bore deep gashes and her internal organs had been removed. It was clear that the killer was the same and his methods were exceptionally brutal. This was no longer just a murder, it was a pattern that was robbing London of its peace. Pressure mounted on the police. There was both anger and fear in the public. Newspapers were filled daily about the news of the Reaper, and with each new murder, the tale of his terror spread further. People began to fear leaving their homes, especially at night. The streets of Whitechapel, already dark, became even more deserted. But the Reaper's most horrifying day was yet to come. September 30th, 1888. That was a night that London would never forget. In a single night, the Reaper claimed two more victims, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. First, Elizabeth Stride's body was found on Berners Street with a single deep gash to her throat. Perhaps the killer was disturbed, preventing him from completing his work. But the Reaper did not stop there. Just 45 minutes later, in Meter Square, the body of Catherine Eddowes was discovered. Her murder was even more brutal than Elizabeth Stride's. Her face was severely mutilated and her internal organs had been removed. This was a murder that shook all of the London. Two murders in a single night, committed with such savagery. This incident was known as the double event. During this time, the police received a letter known as From Hell letter. It contained a piece of human kidney and the killer claimed he had taken it from Catherine Eddowes' body. This letter intensified the fear even further. Was this truly the Reaper's work or was someone imitating him? The mystery deepened. Scotland Yard deployed its full force. Thousands of people were interrogated, every street and alley was searched, but the Reaper, like a shadow, always managed to escape. The police had no solid evidence, no witness who could identify the predator. It was not the era of modern forensics, and the concept of fingerprints was still new. Each new murder further exposed the police's failure. Public anger grew, and there was immense pressure on the London authorities. From the Home Secretary to the Prime Minister, everyone was desperate to solve the case. But the Reaper remained beyond the gasps. Many suspects emerged, doctors, butchers, even members of the royal family, but each time an alibi was found or the evidence was insufficient. The Reaper was like a ghost, appearing, committing his bloody deeds, and then vanishing into the darkness. November 1888. Jack the Reaper's final victim, Mary Jane Kelly. Her murder was the most horrific. On the morning of November 9, her body was found in her room at the Miller's Court in Dorset Street. Her body was so mutilated that it was almost unrecognizable. This murder was so brutal that even police officers were terrified. This murder shook all of London. People began to wonder, would this monster even be caught? Would the nights of the Whitechapel forever remain bloody? After Mary Kelly's murder, Jack the Reaper vanished as if he had never existed. His search continued for many years. Many theories were formed, many books were written, but no one was ever caught, and his true identity remains a mystery to this day. Was he a resident to London or a devil from elsewhere? Did he die or did he simply move on? Jack the Ripper, a name that has become symbol of fear and mystery. His story still remains in the dark corners of humanity. Some secrets are hidden that may never be solved. Those bloody nights of Whitechapel still exist as a dark stain in London's history. Every year many people relive a story trying to unravel his mystery, but perhaps some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. So this was a short story of the Jack Ripper in 1888 terrified all of London. If you like the story or want to just watch more this kind of videos, please subscribe to my channel, like this video and share it with a friend. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.